All right, today we're going to dive into the incredible story of how one online novel didn't just find an audience, it sparked an entire universe of creativity. It's a story that really makes you rethink what it means for a story to be alive.
And it all starts with this number right here, 100,000. So, you're probably thinking, 100,000 views, likes, shares? Nope, not even close. This is the total number of characters written in the fan comments for a single online novel. Think about that. That's not just passive appreciation, that is massive active participation. And that right there is the huge difference we're talking about. A like, that's a 1-second, low-energy click. It's passive. But to write something, to contribute to a pool of 100,000 characters, that means you were moved. You had to feel something, think about it, and then put in the effort to type it out. It's a huge energy investment. To really get a sense of the scale of that investment, check this out. The novel's author, a writer named Koro Chan, had this mind-blowing realization. She realized her fans hadn't just read her book. In their comments, they had basically written an entirely new book back to her. She even calculated that this represented over 100 hours of her readers' lifetime, a gift of their most precious resource. Just incredible. Okay, so how on earth did this creative explosion even begin? Well, it all kicked off with one author and one single, fateful piece of fan. So it all begins with our creator, Koro-chan, and her novel Hikari no Kakera, which you can translate as Fragments of Light. It's this beautiful tale about lost memories, a world that's lost its color, and the search for a guiding light. But a story written in words only truly finds its visual soul when something clicks. For this story, it was a single piece of fan art. It was the very first piece the novel ever received, an image of a moonlight indigo tear from an artist named Towa. And as Koro-chan herself says, this one beautiful image was the origin point. It was the spark that gave her story a visual life and lit the fuse for absolutely everything that came after.
So we have the spark. Now let's talk about the explosion. Because that one visual spark quickly ignited a creative wildfire that took the story's world into totally new dimensions.
From that static image, the universe of Hikari no Kakera then jumped into motion and sound. The community actually came together to produce a full-on animated music video, giving the story's emotional heart a melody and a rhythm all its own. Now, what's so cool about this is that it wasn't just fans working off in a corner somewhere. No, this was a true collaboration. The original author, Koro-chan, she wrote the script. A fan, Heidemugi, composed the music. And another fan, Koko, directed and produced the whole video. You've got the creator and the community working as one team. But the creativity didn't stop with music. It just kept expanding, this time geographically. Fans began to map the fictional world of the story right onto our own, giving its locations a real, tangible presence. And this led to this amazing concept called sacred pilgrimage art. An artist named Himino created this stunning series of works that put the story's biggest moments in real locations all across Japan. It's like they created a real-life tour for other fans to follow and experience the journey for themselves. And this timeline just captures that journey beautifully. The art connects the story's themes, hope, sadness, promise, to the passing of the seasons in specific, real places. From the spring cherry blossoms in Hirosaki to the winter snows in Kanazawa. The fictional world was literally bleeding into the real one. Now, it's really important to get that this creative energy was not a one-way street from the author to the fans. The author herself was deeply moved and, inspired by this incredible outpouring of creativity coming back at her. And here's this fascinating turn of events. Koro-chan visits a real-world art exhibition and is just so energized by the passion she sees there, and it gives her an idea. She decides to pay homage to her own fan community by curating their amazing work into a special feature, styled like a super high-end foreign fashion magazine. This is a perfect example of a creative feedback loop. It's this beautiful, symbiotic cycle where the fan's art inspires the author, and then her act of celebrating their work validates their passion, which, of course, just fuels even more creation. It's a relationship where everyone is building something together. So, what does all of this tell us about what makes a story valuable today? Well, it really suggests there's a fundamental shift happening in how we measure a story's real impact. So what's the real takeaway here? Well, this whole phenomenon basically redefines value itself. Those 100,000 characters,
They're not just a vanity metric. Korchan calls them a certificate of a miracle. They prove that a story's true value isn't in passive consumption. It's not about views or likes. It's in the vibrant creative ecosystem it inspires. The new currency of fandom is active co-creation.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. In an age where fans don't just consume a story, but actively build on it, expand it, and give it new life with their own time and talent, who really owns that world? Maybe ownership isn't a single person's anymore. Maybe it's a shared space between the creator who planted the seed and the community that grew it into a forest.